Other CEOs at the White House today speaking out against the GOP's vision on trade and new border tax plan. Best Buy has even circulated a flyer estimating the proposal of this border tax would turn its projected $1 billion annual net income into a $2 billion loss. Is that a real number or just a scare tactic? With us now is the man who put this meeting together, Retail Industry Leaders Association Senior Executive Vice President Brian Dodge. That's a dramatic flip to go from $1 billion in revenue to negative $2 billion. That's what Best Buy says. Is that a real number, Brian?
It is, and it's the best that retailers can do is to take a look at this proposal and paint a picture to lawmakers of just how horrific an impact it would have on the business, the employees of retail, and of course retail is the largest employing industry in the United States, but perhaps most importantly on the consumers themselves, who would be forced to pay as much as 20% more for the products that they need, the products that they require. These are your apparel, food items, things that would just cost more and hurt those middle-income families that are trying to make budgets work.
So at this table, the CEOs seem to have a very nice rapport, and of course the media were there. Then they kicked the media out, and who knows what was said. I would imagine that they put their flag in they really tried to put their flag in this mountain to say, please, Mr. President, do not do this. But you know that President Trump has said, I want more product made here, and I want to tax stuff that hasn't been made here that comes into this country. What would you say to the president? Do you feel that the CEOs had any success in convincing him?
Well, so of course I wasn't in the meeting, but from what I hear from those who were, they feel like they had a good opportunity to make their case to the president about how this affects those middle-income Americans that we're talking about. But to your point about creating American jobs, no industry does that more than retail. There's 42 million jobs that are either retail jobs or supported by retail, and so we are firm believers in creating jobs on Main Street across every community in America, and they do it every day, and they want to continue to do more of it.
So I don't know, I don't know if our viewers saw the big hint afterward when Bill Rhodes, the AutoZone CEO, came out. He did talk about the jobs, but then he said with real oomph, we serve the consumers. That to me was code for we don't want to make our products more expensive. But you've just been meeting with some senators GOP senators who want this border tax in the plan.
Yeah, we've had a great day of meetings. You know, I think this is obviously a high-profile day given the stature of the retail participants and who we're meeting with, but this is part of an ongoing effort to educate lawmakers about the impact of this border adjustment tax. We're part of a coalition called the Americans for Affordable Products, which now includes about 180 different organizations, and together we're canvassing out to try to talk to every lawmaker with different diverse voices to make sure they understand that the effect of this would be profound on the consumers across every community in America.
And let's just be clear, it's not necessarily a border tax. It's a change in tax accounting treatment, deducting the cost of imported goods versus retailers importing products and materials. Sales of exports would be subject to the U.S. taxes. Companies like GE hate that. But we have an investor audience. They're looking at JOANN, Best Buy, AutoZone, Target, Gap, JCPenney. Those are all publicly traded companies, or at least all of them, and they want to know, are they going to be hurt like what Best Buy said if this goes through?
So you're right to describe this is a fundamental change in the tax code. This dramatically changes the way that businesses are taxed and would have a negative impact on the businesses, but I can't emphasize enough the impact that it would have on consumers. If we're talking about developing tax reform to generate economic growth in the United States, this is simply not the way to do it. They projected that this proposal will raise $1.2 trillion over the course of the next 10 years. There's no way to do that without somebody paying more, and ultimately it's going to be the consumers that pay more.
I don't want to do that, but you know, here you got the whole meeting together and you didn't even get to sit in the meeting. Next time, Brian. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Brian Dodge, Retail Industry Leaders Association Senior EVP. Doesn't sound like anybody got a checkmate there, but the president was listening.